Brando, and this is my lovely, wonderful, fantastic wife with 100 names, and they are...
Beth.
Y'all know she's Lady Elizabeth Autumn McReynolds Groves, right? That's what it is?
Yes.
See? I paid for it, and I said you had to use it. So that's why I make you use it. Okay, I have like everything and nothing to talk about,
Okay.
and so it's going to be an action-packed episode. Are you ready for that?
Bring it on.
Okay, first of all, what y'all hear in the background is the coolest of the coolest. I'm just saying. I got 2 new Rescue Chinchillas. That now brings my total to 4.
That's right.
Because I love them. And, oh, do you hear them?
They're rapping about something.
They're making noise on camera for people. They're fighting. Now, those are Gus Gus and Butters. That's her name. And I got them from a client who also had them as rescue. So, Gus Gus is fairly old. I don't know about Butters. Butters looks pretty young. But, I don't know. Is like a minute or 2 young. Because, you know, they're born in a litter, right?
But were they born together?
I don't know. It's kind of like how twins say one is older. You know,
But did they said litter mates, right?
Yeah, they said litter mates, but Nico and Norma are technically litter mates too. But you have to assume that if one is old, the other's the same age. They just look different ages. So I don't know. I have to ask.
Looks
So TJ, that's who I got from. So TJ, are they the same age or no? Anyway, I love them to pieces, and I got to hold them and pet them and be a part of their world. And I love them. Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, even you like them now, and you didn't really care for them before. I mean, like chinchillas in general.
Yeah, there was like, chinchillas, yay. But when I've sit there and watched Nico and Norman, and I can see that they actually do have little personalities, it's really cute.
It is. Oh, crap.
They do. They really do.
You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to go to Edwardsville and get my contacts.
Okay.
Because I was like, man, why am I still wearing my glasses? Because, you know, obviously we're looking at ourselves as we're talking to y'all. And it makes it easy, by the way, to look at ourselves. Because I just pretend that y'all are the people I'm talking to.
And I can kind of see the comments this time.
Oh, yeah. Let me move a couple of things. Anyway, but I was thinking, crap. If I were wearing my contacts, so I'd be wearing my reading glasses. And that's what caused this thing. And so I'm glad I'm not actually wearing my contacts, even though I was about to say that I was. So you know what? That brings up totally what I want to talk about.
What?
That epiphany I just had. So if I don't want something, I have to want something else, don't I?
Perhaps.
So
does anyone want nothing?
Well, I just said I don't want this thing. Oh, this thing on my nose, right? So what I want is to not wear reading glasses, but I still said to not. I said I want to not. It's that word not that is the killer in communication and in communicating with ourselves. Because what you do is you say, I do not want to be overwhelmed by other people. Right? I don't want to be overwhelmed by other people. I'm not going to go. I don't want to be overwhelmed. So what do you want?
Not very many people.
No, you can't use not. So you
you
have to say
peace and quiet.
Right. So you have to say exactly the opposite of what it is that you do not want.
Yeah. I don't want chaos right now. I want peace and quiet.
Right. So if you find, though, that you're saying a lot of the time to your partner what you don't want and not very often what you do want, what happens?
Creates like a sort of a negative communication flow.
Negative atmosphere, totally. So if I always came to you and I was like, you know what? I don't want you to wear that anymore. I don't want you to say that anymore. I don't want to eat this anymore. I don't want to sleep like this anymore. I don't want to be tired every morning. I don't want to, have these aches and pains, or I don't want to have so much stress. If I did that every day, how pissed would you get?
Well, it would get a little, it would get old. After a while.
It would, right?
Like,
Because
do you have anything positive to say ever?
well, you know how I know that is because we lived that life for a little while, didn't we? We lived that life where all we did was tell each other what we didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was involving each other, and sometimes it wasn't. You know, what was the last thing you told me you didn't want?
Another animal in the house.
And now I have two more, and you encouraged
I gave the
it.
stamp. I put the stamp on it. I think it was, for some reason, I felt like it was important. So I was like, yeah, I think we should do this.
Yeah, that's right. So, you must have wanted more animals if you told me what you didn't want, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so
I don't know. It's a different feeling than when you got, like, widow. And you're like, so, honey,
yeah,
got something to tell you.
I brought home a dog. Can I pet that dog?
But I love widow, and I'm glad that you got her.
Well, you know, I went out on a limb on that one, you know. I knew I would probably get yelled at, but at that point it didn't matter because I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. That was the old me.
Like father, like son.
Right, yeah. Okay, so that was the old me, but I'm not that person anymore, and that's the big difference is I would much rather now talk about something before it gets done. And that creates chaos for you because you absolutely hate talking about stuff. So
Yeah,
how
I'm
do
not known
you go
for my talking skills.
So
I can write pretty well.
So how have you grown through that though? Because you used to only communicate with negative language. What was the game changer? Besides me kicking your ass? No, I didn't really.
Just checking myself. Well, I started to hear, you know, the negative things the negative ways I would spin things, and I just kind of started checking myself, and I was like, well, how about I just word it this way? And sometimes I'll mumble as I'm going through the house doing stuff, you know,
Not
whatever's on my mind.
Almost all
so I'm just kind
the
of,
time.
you know, mumbling crap, and it's just usually what's in my.
Oh my God! You should carry around the little microset recorder.
No way.
Yeah, you should. You should carry. I think that's what the person who owned it first did for a while. Like just carried it around and forgot, because there's some weird sounds I can't identify, but it's interesting.
And so I've sort of developed this little kind of Jiminy Cricket that, you know, says, hey,
let your conscience be your guide.
Let's try rewording this way. And so if you're going to say it out loud, say it this way. And when you say things out loud, it's different than when you just think things.
So I got to use one of those examples that you just gave right now. How you said, you know, you just reword stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so today I got to reword something for someone in the same way that it impressed me. You know that old saying, I say old, some people don't know it, but that saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. Mm. People have been saying that for as long as I've been alive, and considering that you're much younger than me, you've been hearing it also, right? The interesting thing is, if you stop and think about it, the grass is not always greener on the other side. It's greener where it's watered, fertilized, taken care of, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're always looking at the other yard and going, wow, that's nice grass, I wonder if they do this, or how did they do that, or where did you get that? Oh, can we plant those? If you're doing that,
I learned how to water my own grass.
Yeah, if
trim
you're
my own bushes.
If you're doing that though, if you're looking over in the other yard and asking for solutions over there for a problem that doesn't exist over there, then you're being a busybody, right? Like the neighbor on Bewitched.
Yeah.
What was her name? Oh, I can almost...
Crabtree or something? Crabapple? Crabtree?
Yeah, those are absolutely the same things. Oh, by the way, and y'all can comment too. We have the comments up. I don't know if they're working though. I never know if they're working. I'm going to comment on myself. Of course somebody's watching. Somebody's always watching. You know? Sometimes I feel like somebody's watching me. Oh, yeah, the comments aren't showing up. I said hi twice and I don't see any comments. So don't know what's going on. Okay, well, anywho, so what I was talking about was communicating, and whenever you communicate in a negative way, you usually get negative attention for it. That means it's probably going to piss somebody off at some point. I tried very hard.
That's getting back what you're putting out.
Right, I tried very hard to. Oh, there's my comment of hi. Oh, and I said hi to Carol. She's watching. So good. I placed the right word there. That was total Mad Lib type thing. Well, so now, okay. You commented earlier. Oh, well, okay. We've got him. So how about that? Anywho's, words, language, conversations. That's where we are. Okay.
Yes.
I changed that one thing about the grass is always greener, and I heard it from some show or something. I can't even remember where I heard it, but it impressed upon me. Well, for one, because my dad, just because y'all don't know, my dad was a grass judger. He was on the grass judging team at school. Feel free to laugh, make fun of. It's all good. But very important stuff. So I grew up knowing about grass in all
and you
shapes
know a lot
and
about
forms.
grass
I know
now.
a lot about grass.
Wink, wink.
Anyway, so about our lawn. When we started realizing that it needed nutrients, we decided to start nourishing each other with support, because that's kind of one of those things that you have to be able to do. That's sort of the last stage in our healing, is because you start out healing your language, right? Because you use a lot of negative language, and you take the word not out. You take the word but out. You were awful about that. Wow, just like I remember the first time I really started to notice how much you said but. I was astonished. I had to point it out, because it's like everything you said that was positive, you made negative instantly.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
And an example of that is what? Something you used to say.
If you complimented me, I would always reverse it by saying, if you said, hey, this food was good. Yeah, but it was something simple. It didn't take anything.
Yeah, you totally downplay it. You take the word but, and if before but is a positive thing, don't use but. Just take it out and make a new sentence. You don't need that word. You just don't. And and in situations where you do need that word, it's because you're putting something positive on it as opposed to something negative, right? So that means you caught yourself. You can use the word but when you catch yourself, So what's your experience with getting rid of the word not before everything? Saying, I don't want this, or I can't do that.
I started, I would be cleaning the kitchen or something like that, and I can't even remember, because I've done it several times, but I don't know, I guess I'd be irritated about something, like I don't want this to be like this, and then I would start thinking about it and how much have I actually done to change, this, that, or the other, that in which I'm mad about at the moment, then it goes down to, I must want it to be like this since I'm not doing anything about it.
And you know what? Sometimes I use the word not and but. That's how I know that I'm having a really hard day, is if I'm using the word not and but. And I've gotten pretty negative the past, I guess, couple weeks, because I was sick, and then I felt good, and then I was sick again, and I'm sort of sick again, but just because I got dehydrated again. And no, I'm not impacted. Don't have the constipation this time, but I've got a little bit all the time. I've got a little bit of a kidney pain. It's all them damn Dr. Peppers. That's what it is.
It's Dr. Pepper's fault.
I love them Dr. Peppers. But that's an example right there. You know, I joke. I know it's my fault. I know it's my problem. And I know exactly what's causing it. So I just got to get over myself as you drink the damn Dr. Pepper. Yeah. Does that make you feel good?
Yeah. But
yeah.
I might have one.
The doctor.
Every 2 or 3 days.
The doctor is
still one. Or maybe once a week. If I
Oh, you say that. It drives me crazy. You say steal one. You're not stealing it. You're just having one. You're having it. Steal is just so awful.
I'm having it after I steal it.
Stop. Okay, do you... yet. Oh, that's right, Carol. The word yet. I'm working on it. I'm not there yet. That's a big thing that I like. Yet is... That is the word. Like, it's the Band-Aid that fixes everything. So if you're using, like, on a day that I'm feeling particularly negative and I'm saying not and but and all those type things, I'm using all that unhealthy language, all I have to do is stop and go, not there yet. I recognize that there's the not, you know, it's negative, but the yet replaces the negative because it means that there's hope for the next day. Now that's another one of those things, is that hope, when you replace hope with faith. So if you say, I hope tomorrow's going to be sunny, it means that you just have blind belief, right? But if you say, I have faith that tomorrow's going to be sunny, you have a blind belief with sources. You can cite sources. Why do you think that tomorrow's going to be sunny? Even if it's not. You would have faith in tomorrow being sunny, even if you didn't know if it were summer and the possibility was higher, right? So if you had knowledge, a little more knowledge, so if you take that internal positive belief and you say, okay, we're going to kick it up a notch, it becomes faith. So hope becomes faith when you stop trying and do. So you look at hope as the trying. You know, I'm trying to believe. But you look at faith as the belief, as you're doing, right? And that's something that I've had to change. And that's that yet part. That yet is the hope. And when you stop saying the yet, it means you're no longer saying the but and the not. And it means that now you've been healed, right? So we are right now working on the nourishing part, which is the support part of our relationship, because you and I have both healed. We're healing our language, right? Because it's always a practice. It's not like you stop. You don't reach that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say healed past tense. I would say,
Yeah, we're healing. Yeah, every day we're healing. Anybody who's had trauma or any type of issue in their life, they're healing, but every day you're healing, and every day is a new day, and you do the best you can with what you have, and whatever you have at the end of the day is what you get to play with, right? So what at the end of the day do you have left for everyone that you get to play with?
What do you mean, like just hanging out?
Like, well, your feelings, your energy, your language. What do you have left at the end of the day? Are you aggressive whenever you're at the end of the day? Are you assertive? Or do you even communicate?
I'm mostly relaxed because, I'm probably a little tired. And so I'm ready to just kind of sink into the couch for a minute.
So in the evening, then your language is body.
Yeah.
Yeah, your language is physical in the evening. My language is not physical in the evening. My language is totally shut off by the end of the day because I coach all day. And so I'm with somebody and we're talking and I'm listening and I'm animated and, it's so much communication. And so by the end of the night, I'm just like a switch, just flip me off. That's it. Yeah. I mute my phone. whenever I've had enough communicating. Actually, I forget to turn my phone back on because I muted at the last session, and then if I've had a particularly hard day, then I don't remember to unmute it. And that just shows that shutting off communications thing.
Yeah, I leave mine on all the time because, I know that the kids might be, chiming in at some point.
Oh my gosh, so you know what? We were kids and we didn't have cell phones. Oh, and we're still here today. What? We survived without cell phones in our mommies and our daddies. Crap. And our kids are 17 and 18. What?
Yeah.
Do you see the point I'm making?
Yeah. Well, we got the tech. We might as well use
We
it.
do, and that's what I'm always talking about. Is your big argument whenever the kids were little was they couldn't have a wipes warmer because you didn't have one.
Yeah, I think we've moved
Yeah,
past that.
but it's an example of why do we want them to have a wipes warmer?
I believe we ended up getting a wipes
No, we
warmer
did
eventually.
not. Nope,
I
we
believe
did not.
there
You
was
got
a
you got a
warming
shaving
thing.
cream warmer.
No, there was something
Sorry,
else too.
nope.
Because I wouldn't have felt right about getting a shaving cream warmer without that.
Really, I
Unless
got
the
it
kids
for
were,
you
like,
so you can
added
kiss
diapers.
my grits. I know what I'm talking about.
No, I had a shaving cream warmer.
Okay, so
I'm saying I think we also had.
You a lie. You a lie. I know because I was the one that was wiping the asses and waking them up in the middle of the night.
So
And
many
then
diapers. I was the diaper queen.
that
Yes.
I'm talking middle of the night
Hundreds.
during a feeding. Okay, during the feedings in the middle of the night, and when you were working overnights and all that whole first year with Quentin, I don't even want to hear it. You did it when you had to do it.
No, I was good with diapers.
So in the middle of the night, I'm changing the ass.
You would be like
Dead asleep. Dead asleep, changing him after he ate, and it would wake him up every single time, and I just wanted to go to sleep. And he would cry, and my boobs would leak, and then he would cry, and then my boobs would leak, and then I would come back to bed and your ass would be snoring, and I'd be like, I want a wipes warmer. I almost microwaved them. It probably wouldn't have been safe. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been, but I'm just saying. So the reason we want them to have a wipes warmer is so it's easier on us. Like, because if the technology is there, why not use what's available, right? And it's just like this cell phone thing. Why not use it if it's available? You would be an idiot parent not to, right? Because then it's like, if we could track our kids back in the day, maybe we wouldn't have done
this wipe
some...
warmer business was like 10, 15 years ago, by the way. 10, 15 years ago.
It was 18 years ago because Rory is 18.
Yeah, but we had Alex too.
Are you kidding me right now?
Then a couple of years later, then we
so
had
we were just
Lucas.
using that as a tie-in, and it happened to be a good tie-in. So I'm over it. Trust and believe. Yes, you were a very good parent. Sorry, guys. She did. She changed all the shitty diapers because I was a big wiener. However, I did nurse the kids.
Yeah.
And
He
took
did
them
everything
to work
else.
with me for
That was the one thing that I was good at, and I knew that a lot of dads at the time weren't they weren't the big diaper people. No, I can handle some diapers.
So I had just read. I came home one day. I had just read an article in Reader's Digest or some shit like that. I don't remember because I was working at the church. So I was reading this thing about this. Carol said she's trying to follow along. You won't be able to.
Yeah.
It's Friday night. It's positively entertaining conversations. You know how this goes.
Yeah,
okay.
This train derails so many times.
It never derails.
And then when it gets back on the tracks, it's on a different track altogether.
Well. Tomato.
Yeah, try to follow this.
Okay.
I dare you.
Are you good now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I read this article in Reader's Digest or some shit back when the kids were babies. It was with Rory, I guess. So I come home and it was time for you to change him, and so you're changing him and you're eating like right after. And because they were breastfed, it looked like mustard, their poop did. And the article that I had read upon coming home was this hilarious story about this guy who just had a baby, went to a business meeting to where they had sandwiches and there was Grey Poupon. And so he was remarking about how wonderful the mustard was. It was so good that he would even lick it off his fingers. And he looked and he had some on his finger. And so he just very casually, but, exclaiming how delicious it was, put it in his mouth and couldn't backtrack and say it wasn't delicious when he realized it was his baby's shit. So, because he'd already said, Grey Poupon is delicious, and then he sticks his finger in his mouth, and he couldn't. So, and I want to say that the reason it's relevant was that the company was, it was mustard people that maybe this luncheon was about or something. Somehow it tied in. It's not like I can remember.
Looks like mustard, though. Breastfed baby poop.
It does, and it's really heinous and disgusting, and I can't handle it. It's never on any rail. That's true. Monorail. Yeah. We need a monorail.
It's a nonorail.
Nonorail. It's like Rainbow Road in Mario, right? It's just
you just fall off every 5 seconds.
And sometimes it's transparent, sometimes it's not. Anywho, so what we were talking about was communication. And we were talking about how communication affects a relationship and how you change that language and things get better because you're no longer introducing the negative energy into the environment. And if you're not introducing negativity into the environment, sarcasm, passive aggressive type, shit goes away, right? What's something else that goes away whenever those kind of negative conversations and negative communications go away? Well, you become more complimentary.
It changes kind of like, I guess, how I look at, I think another comic unit.
There is no rail.
There's not even a train.
Is that like there is no spoon?
Yeah.
And guided missiles. That's what we are.
I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, God. Well, stop getting distracted by that. I asked you what else disappears when that negative language disappears. And I said the sarcasm disappears.
Yeah.
The aggressiveness.
Exactly. Shut up.
The aggressiveness disappears. Hey, I'm doing pretty well to stay on track. But also some of those kind of snide, underhanded things that we do, not just say, but that we do go away.
Yeah, you end up with a more positive outlook on things.
Yeah, you no longer walk past the trash and go, that bitch can take it out. Because that's so what I used to do with you. It's like, no, I can't walk past the trash can one more damn time. And now you understand. Now you totally get it.
Yeah.
If I have to walk past this trash can one more damn time and somebody is balancing the last wrapper on it, I am going to kick their ass between their ears.
Yeah, nobody will take it out. I have to go tell somebody.
Yeah.
And so what actually does work is I'll take the bag out, tie it up, and set it next to the garbage can, and I'll put the new bag in.
Yeah, but then Dad just takes it out.
And then
not the kids.
When Rory comes and takes the dogs out,
it's supposed to be Lucas's job. That's where I'm having trouble. That is Lucas's job.
He's heading out anyway. There's one more thing you can take out.
Yeah, so Lucas learns how then. See?
And he does take the garbage out for me. Whenever I'm doing stuff like got chores and I'm cleaning up and I got garbage happening, Lucas is right there, Johnny on the spot.
Don't vape. Guys, don't vape. Right? Don't vape. Don't vape nicotine. Right. Okay, so there are a couple other things besides the chinchillas. We also are going to have company tonight. And that company is our best good friends, Mandy and Chris, because we are finally going to do our gift exchange from Christmas. I'm excited, and we've talked about that on the podcast before, so I'm excited to do that. We're going to exchange gifts and try to chat for a minute before we go our separate ways, because we've both been sick, and now everybody's well, and we're going to strike while the iron's hot. That's essentially what we have to do. So we'll have good stuff to report on that front. And God, what else? What else is going on? Let's see. Joe and I are going to be doing our podcast next week. We'll go live on Facebook, and you know I love Joe. And he is sober now 12 years, and I just coined him this last podcast. It is 12 years, right? 12? Okay, making sure. And I'm super proud of him. And right now, you know, I have a whole diverse group of clients, and some of them struggle with addiction, and so they can understand what a big deal it is whenever you go 12 years without drinking. Or for me, you know, you go 20 years without street drugs. I mean, that's a tough one, you know, but they're both tough. But nicotine's one of those things too, and when I'm ready, I'll quit. Not ready, don't have to be, and that's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
As long as you're okay with your options, like I can either vape or I don't vape. Take pics, please. Oh, yeah. Take pics tonight of the gift exchange. Yeah, we got to start doing more of those picture thingies. Yeah. I'm sort of in. It's funny because I'm always on camera, right? I mean, I'm always on camera, always taking pictures. But it's really the last thing that I think of, because I like to just be in the moment. And I don't like to do the whole camera thing. And so I forget often. So yeah, Mandy will remember. She's the picture taker.
I used to take a lot of pictures, and then I've since, you know, I'm like, wow.
That's one of those other. It's one of those other things that disappears whenever negativity starts to disappear. You're not trying to capture every moment
well, I like to
anymore.
Have a picture or
well,
two.
Yeah, we do too, but they're more planned out now.
Yeah.
As opposed to
I'm not running around
stuff.
With like, trying to take a picture of every single second.
Yeah, we used to, because we wanted to solidify those memories every day. Oh, I don't want to forget this. I don't want to forget that. But in doing that, you actually forget to experience the feelings in the moment. And so it's like we minimize that by going, okay, we know what we want a picture of. We want a picture of them blowing out the candles. We want a picture of them with the cake. We want a picture of them with the friends. Okay, So we'll stage those pictures. And then we'll let other people take candid shots. Yeah. You know, that's usually how we just manage it. Now, and then at the end of the night, if there's no shots, we don't stress, right? Oh, yeah. Mandy, though, seriously, every time we have a get-together, she wants to have that thing for us. And I appreciate the fact that she does, because then she'll give me the gift of the pictures of the event. Mm-hmm. And I always think that that's cool. So I like the fact that there's people like me who just want to talk about it and not, take a picture. But I also love the fact that there's people that are willing to sacrifice the event to take the picture.
Yeah, they always take good pictures, and it's like they remember to capture the moments.
Yeah.
We might be in the car and be like, oh, we should have gotten a picture by the movie poster we just
But then
watched.
There's Mandy.
Mandy thinks of it every time.
She really does. So, what? Oh. I'll be I'll be the photographer in the future of the important moments. Oh, and so you'll be here soon.
You can't do it
Carol.
all the time because you have to be in the picture sometimes,
right.
too.
So you'll be here soon, and you'll be doing this with us. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Nobody knows what that is, right? You know what it is.
I know, like walking on sunshine.
You don't know. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Oh, yeah.
I never thought I could feel so free.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's how lame we are, and I don't even care. And that's the beauty of being us, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that comes down to that language. The beauty of being us is that we care about what's important relative to us, and we're okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that your bra strap's showing. And I outed you.
Yes, it's plain as day. I'm not
I know.
show them off. That's just where they are. So sorry.
Okay, so But I'm saying, it's one of those things where back in the day, that would have driven you crazy. As a matter of fact, you obsessed about it so much, I had a permanent spot right here where you would hook your finger each time you'd come by and do that and move my bra strap inside my shirt.
That's because it was typically about to go over the shoulder, and I was just walking by and I would see it. I'm like, here you go.
How's that different than what I said?
I mean, I don't know if it will. It's obsessive.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I had a permanent spot where you hooked right there each time you did it. And what I'm pointing out is we grow through things.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. As long as we're okay, we're okay. So I wouldn't care if somebody came in and said anything. I'd be like, and so, right? And that's something that I grew through, because I would have been totally upset if you had called me out on it back then, because it bothered you so bad.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't. Yeah. It,
Yeah, but we didn't talk about it.
Right. I mean,
we never talked.
Yeah, we didn't. Not very much.
We hardly saw each other.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh God, bra strap, or anything like that.
Honey, I don't think people think that you were mean. Beth was not a mean husband at all. But there were just things that were very particular to you. The floor, the bra strap, the kids' faces, their hair. There were certain boxes that had to be checked. And it wasn't because you told me you have to do this. It's because it was an expectation. That's all it was, So what, you got upset periodically whenever it wasn't done. Literally every person in the world gets upset when their expectations not met, right? You weren't mean about it.
Yeah,
you just would tuck it in.
The house was always small potatoes because, at the time my job was disappointing me on levels I couldn't even fathom.
Did you say disappointing on levels you couldn't even fathom?
Yeah. It's like I was so ready to leave whenever I think it was just the universe saying, hey, look, I'm going to smash you with a hammer one time.
Well, talk about that last stint. Talk about the last stint at Bragg.
It was just so miserable.
Well, what was your job? What were you doing? Why was it miserable?
Because there was no job. My job was an analyst, and we had a unit that was basically, it was
being decommissioned. I mean, or
I think there's
they renamed it, didn't they? What did they do? They did something with it.
It was.
I know that they got they redid your MOS.
Yeah, it used to be 96 Bravo, and it got changed to the 35 Fox. But the unit I went to was just, the command structure was really, really messed up. And when it comes down to intel sections, you cannot have meddling of the company coming in and say, hey, I need troops to go do this detail and to go do this detail. Because then you cannot have any sort of cohesive anything happening in your shop.
I think you should backtrack and tell them first what happened upon your arrival.
Oh Lord!
So this was us brand new back to Fort Bragg. We'd already been there once.
You can Google this too. We got back, and I think I'd maybe been there almost a month, not maybe, about 3 weeks. And there was a 4-day weekend, and they always had a big safety brief with the brigade commander. And at the time it was Commander Tisdale and Colonel Tisdale. He was a full-bird. And there was apparently a disgruntled troop who had a problem with the colonel and went up and shot him in the face in front of everybody.
And where were you?
I was over across the street at the Ace, because somebody has to be there all the time.
The Ace is?
It's it's not the Ace. When I was at 18th Airborne Corps, it was the Ace. This was the Ray compound. And so, since it was a TS facility, somebody has to be there at all times. So they had this big safety brief, and we were also expecting some crap from 18th or from 82nd that they were supposed to be bringing up. And so we were sitting there, me and this other NCO, and and all of a sudden we hear, and then it was Lee. He goes, "Did you hear that?" And I was like, I'm not sure what I heard. At the, he goes, well, I'm gonna go take a look, and it was like, because it was maybe 100 yards to the street, and then it was maybe 100 yards that way, and then it was the field, where they were having the big brief, so we could hear everything. We just couldn't see anything, and so. So he goes and kind of pokes around. He says, there's a lot of people running around and stuff over there. They didn't know what was going on, and then the MP showed up. Because everybody, it was like it's like this field, and on the back side of this field is the MP compound. So the MPs were right there,
Well,
so
let me give it from my perspective, because we lived off post.
Yeah,
and everything got locked down, and you were already in a secure place. So I knew you would not have your cell phone on, because in the compound you couldn't have your cell phones and stuff. So I was used to not having contact with you. So I was okay until I found out that those were your guys that were on the field, because everybody that was on post was reporting to people off post through Facebook. And
I did that guy's D-Rock.
And so, okay, they don't know what that is either. What's that?
Well, to complete the story, after he murdered the commander, he shot himself. So he was dead. And I, at the time, was a security NCO, and I dealt with a lot of people's clearances. And if somebody did a no-no...
A discretion?
and they were holding a clearance, secret or above, then their paperwork would go to me, and I would have to issue a recommendation based on, whatever, and it was usually like something bad, like maybe they got a DUI or something. It was never anything small, and so it was typically recommendation for suspension of clearance. And so I just finished up a stack that I had gotten off the blotter report, and at the bottom of the stack was this asshole's freaking security clearance paperwork. And so I had to do the D-Rock on this dead guy, and I was really mad about it.
So they still don't know what the D-Rock is. You just keep saying it, but you haven't told them.
It's a form, derogatory report.
There you go.
And
I just wanted to make you say it, like I make you say your name.
And it's
if we were playing what's that game, the pyramid game, where you have to give clues until somebody guesses it, we would have lost.
Oh,
like
right.
I was
see the word.
Yeah, it's like indiscretion.
It's D-Rock, man. Come on. Come on, stupid.
Yeah, that's like me with all my guru talk. Sometimes I forget that I'm talking programming, and it's like, okay, you don't know that yet, sorry.
But yeah, that unit was terrible. The structure was jacked up. Everybody who got there, any piece of leadership that we got, was immediately trying to get out of there as fast as they could. It was so bad.
But you did.
We had one really awesome first sergeant. He was so freaking cool. I'm so glad that I don't think I would have made it if he hadn't showed up and took over the unit the way he did, because it was so freaking bad. Some of our, like one of my soldiers, popped hot, and and he was going through a difficult time, and it was and then I had another one that went AWOL, and it was like, and he was fresh in,
Fort Bragg, though,
and it turns out that he was like this gang dude who lived just out there in Fayetteville, and there was all kinds of crap going on with that. We're just like, God, this place is a nightmare.
Yeah,
it was a nightmare.
Fort Bragg really was a nightmare. Out of every place we lived, that was
Yeah, it was.
And
it was
so at home we had no information on what was going on at all. I just knew that it was your people on the field, and so I panicked, and when that panic sets in, you had already been deployed.
Yeah.
And you came home safe, and then you had been deployed, and then you come home safe, and then you join a new unit, and you're doing a safety brief, and you would expect that you'd come home, but the reality is some people don't come home.
Yeah, it's...
Now, how is that any different than...
The other kid that got a hold of the ricin.
Yeah.
He was like talking about he had ricin in his room.
So how is that any different than somebody dying in a car wreck on the way home or something like that? Why is that so profoundly different?
I guess it's this the kind of tragedy it is.
It's the expectations.
You know,
so you know what we were talking about
somebody
before.
else, made the choice to do this.
Right. We
Not,
expect
it was just tragic.
people to care about other people. We expect people to behave like we would, right? And so because we have these great expectations for humanity, if something doesn't meet that, it's very traumatic. If your expectations for humanity aren't met, it's traumatic.
Yeah, I mean, if when your expectations aren't met, that means something traumatic just happened.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As a human being, observing human life and being part of human life, you expect humanity to have a degree of decorum, civilization. You're choosing to live in a civilized manner with other human beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have the same expectations for them that you do yourself.
Right.
So if you're a shit person, humanity, is shitty to you. You believe that humanity is shitty to you, so you think the universe is out to get you. Because you're a shitty person, you expect everybody else to be shitty. And so you survive just fine, right? When something negative happens, oh, you knew it was coming. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. That's what happens whenever you do this and do that. You have all this great advice. Well, guess what? If you're that person that's saying that, you're the problem. You're your own worst enemy. But if you simply see that there's still humanity in something like that, somebody was at their end. And somebody made a decision to not come home. And somebody made a decision to make sure somebody else didn't go home too. And that is when you say that's crisis.
Yeah.
There's a difference between trauma and crisis. And crisis is really something that that I deal with daily, and I know that you do as part of just who you are. And we're going to start wrapping up and get ready to see Mandy and have a good time and not think about Fort Bragg.
Yep. We got the Texas cheese dip in there.
Oh my God, but it's got sausage.
7-layer dip. The 7-layer dip is vegetarian.
Yes, because I'm lame like that.
So that's going to be good.
I love you.
I love you too, honey.
We talked about deep stuff.
Yeah.
We talked about shallow shit too.
Mm-hmm.
Like how wonderful my chinchillas are. And you heard them making racket over there. And you heard my dogs in there. This whole house is just chaos. Oh my God. Before we go, I saw an article about this giant shoe house in the middle of a forest that was reclaimed.
Did have an old lady in it.
Swear to God. It seriously was this old, this big giant shoe house.
It's true. It's all true.
It's 100%, and so I thought that was a really cool story. I'll try to post it if I come across it again. But so don't forget, save the date. Next week, Joe and I are going to be doing live on Facebook, and you and I, of course, will be doing our thing too. But for now, we have to say goodbye. And tonight we have to drink lots of creamer. Only you know what that means.
Why do we have to?
Because we have 4 boxes of it. Why do we have 4 boxes of creamer, do you ask? Because Grandpa. Why not? Anyway, okay. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too.
And we're going to go hang out. Thank you guys for hanging with us. Love you, everybody.
Love you too. Carol.
Bye. Stop recording. Bye.